20 minutes to 8. Good morning, it's Eleanor Oldroyd and Chris Warburton with you on 5 Live. The first description's been issued of the Croydon Cat Killer, who first started attacking animals 2 years ago. Since then, it's believed that this person has killed more than 250 animals in London, Manchester, Birmingham and Brighton.
Well, the description is of a white man in his 40s with short brown hair, dressed in dark clothing, possibly with acne scarring to his face. It also says he may be wearing a headlamp or carrying a torch.
We can speak to Boudicca Rising, who helped set up SNARL, which stands for South Norwood Animal Rescue and Liberty Organisation, which has been looking into these deaths. Good morning.
Good morning.
Tell us about when you first realised that there was something going on here, something big going on.
Yeah, it was incremental. We started. We heard about some cat killings in Addiscombe, which is the suburb next door to us. And because we run a rescue and rehome animals in the area, we needed to find out what that was, because we didn't want to rehome cats to an area that was dangerous for them. We saw something on Facebook, we had a look at it, we phoned a couple of vets, they confirmed that there was something going on. We discovered that Ukio, a cat, had been murdered in the area. We went to speak to his owners. We then did a leaflet drop in 3 streets in Addiscombe and came home with initially 15 cases, stretching back the previous 3 to 5 years. Of those, we actually retained 12 of them in the end. 3 we ruled out. 1 we ruled out and ruled back in again when cats started turning up with the same injury. But it was around October last year. We went to Croydon Police. They said, yeah, it looks like there's something going on, but we need some physical evidence. I said, you want essentially bodies? And they went, yes. And I said, well, what are you going to do with those? Because police don't obviously investigate animal crime. You do investigate serial crime, and this starting to look like it's a serial. But, you know, RSPCA said, Foxes, what are you going to do? And they went, well, I don't know. And I said, it's going to be down to us, isn't it? And they kind of went, yeah.
Right.
And that's how we got involved.
That's how you got so involved. I mean, it's deeply alarming, isn't it, to think what might be going through somebody's head in order to go and do something as terrible as this. It was originally called the Croydon Cat Killer, then it was the M25. As I mentioned in the introduction there, we were talking about attacks in Manchester, Birmingham, Brighton, the Isle of Wight. Why do we think this would be the same person?
Because it's exactly the same injuries, and Brighton, Manchester, Brackley, Northamptonshire and Maidstone have all been confirmed by post-mortem as most likely linked, so most likely the same person. We can't rule out that there are other people involved. He might have somebody helping him, but for the whole the last nearly 2 years, all the evidence points towards the activity of one individual. So where we've had attacks in Manchester and Birmingham, we haven't had them back in London. The whole Croydon Cat Killer thing is a complete misnomer, because as the publicity's kind of rolled out across the country, we've heard about historical cats. There's historical cases in Manchester, in Birmingham, in the Wirral. So actually, he's not just been killing in Croydon and then branched out. He's always been operating across that area. It's just no one's joined the dots.
How have we built up this description of this person?
I can't go into it, but there was an incident in Caterham where members of the public chased somebody who was in a garden, and it was a garden where he'd placed a victim the night before. So a number of people got to see him. We have about 25 reports of a very similar individual in and around kill locations at the time of. So it's actually been, it's not something we've done off the cuff. It's something that's been building for about a year.
Are you surprised? I mean, given the publicity, we've talked about it from time to time. I've read about it endlessly, it seems, in the papers over the past couple of years. Are you surprised, given all of that this person hasn't been caught?
No. Serial killers are generally really difficult to catch. They tend to be forensically aware, they tend to be CCTV aware, they operate in areas where they don't get caught. Although they indulge in high-risk activity, actually it's quite low risk. You know, walking around the streets at 2 o'clock in the morning in a suburb where there's no CCTV, in some cases there's no street lights, you've got a head torch on, there's no one around to see you, there's no one around to monitor what you're doing, there's nothing there. You know, he's committing a set of perfect crimes, essentially.
Oh, it's disturbing stuff, isn't it? It really is.
It is.
But listen, thank you, and hopefully this description will get us somewhere. But thank you for talking to us.
No problem at all. Thanks for having me.
All right, all the best. That's Boudicca Rising, who helped set up that organisation, SNARL, at 7:46.